Hunter x Hunter is a show with a strong main cast and an even stronger supporting cast, as most of these characters can stand out in their own ways while individually drawing the viewer's attention with ease. As the story goes on, we tend to change perspective and follow different characters in order to see their point of view, the actions they're taking, the reason behind their actions, and most importantly, the conflicts that they'll have with other characters in order to achieve their goals. From Gon and Hisoka's childish yet stubborn dynamic and rivalry, as Hisoka promises to wait for Gon to become more powerful so he can eventually cut him down at his peak, to Killua and Illumi's relationship, a twisted abusive love from an older brother to a younger brother, as Illumi wants to do what he believes is best for his younger brother Killua in order for him to become the perfect assassin, and these actions making Killua despise him, as Killua wants to live his own life, all the way to random and possible conflicts such as Hisoka and the Zoldyck family. As two of the Zoldicks are currently in the Phantom Troop, it could be possible victims of Hisoka's slaughter of the troop, especially Illumi, as he's joined the troop and is on the Black Whale with the specific goal of defeating and killing Hisoka. As most characters in this story are interesting due to their relationship with other characters in the cast, there is one and one alone who garners the same amount of interest, if not more due to his abandonment, rather than his relationships. This character is Gyro. Gyro lived a childhood of pure petrification, as he had to spend the first 12 years of his life working in a construction camp. Jairo was able to lay concrete and bricks before speaking his first words, living by his father's famous quote, "to not cause trouble for anybody." Jairo believes that this was told him by his father in order to protect him from harm. Having to learn the ability to sleep without any movement, as his father once gave him a severe beating for doing so, as his rotting and creaking bed would emit a noise that his father hated most than anything in this world. But despite these conditions, Jairo loved his father, and even idolized him because he had a treasured memory of this man from when he was 5. When Jairo had a terrible fever one night, his father stood up all night and took care of him, replacing his towels in and out in order to make sure he'd be okay. And the other reason why is because his father kept him around. Despite everything his father has done to him, he's never asked him to leave. So Jairo lived through each day, with his attachment to his father being the only thing keeping him going in such horrible conditions. Until one day, another prisoner in the hell that was the construction camp mocked Gyro and his father, stating that his father only keeps him around because he brings him money. Despite this truth being one that Gyro once considered, he snaps regardless, due to the other youth bringing it up carelessly and mocking him. As Gyro attempts to attack, the youth subdues him easily, and out of pure anger, he continues what he was saying, dealing the final blow to an already broken child, stating that the one who spent all night caring for you when you were sick was the old man next door. Your dad was hammered in his room as usual. You don't know because you were too sick. The old man and your dad even got into a fight about it. This is your son. What if he dies? Want to know what your dad said? Who cares? Doesn't matter to me either way. As Jairo heard these words, as if a higher being intervened in order to reinforce his heartbreak, his father, the one and only thing in this world that should love him unconditionally and always protect him, witnesses him in immense pain and danger, and proceeds to walk away without a care in the world. This was the moment that Jairo understood everything. His father keeping him around for the money, his father telling him to never make trouble for anyone, was not to protect Jairo, but it was to protect himself. Anybody meaning his father. No, anyone meant any person. Don't ever make trouble for anyone. Or rather, don't make trouble for humans. Jairo had finally learned that this was the lesson told to him by the incompetent father who couldn't do something as easy as love and protect his own child. Something a stranger was even more capable of doing than he was. So why should Jairo listen to this man? Jairo's brain came to understand that if this is the advice that someone as despicable as my father made me live by, then I should probably do the opposite. Jairo's sole purpose is to eradicate humanity, and he begins with his father. This lesson, his abandonment, and his past culminates into the definition of evil that is Gyro. And Gyro has become an evil beyond saving or understanding, as he doesn't even consider himself human. And with Gyro establishing the NGL after his departure from the construction camp and turning it into a nation that he monarchs 9 years after that, this belief of his has done nothing but been developed and reinforced. Soon after Gyro establishes his nation and rule, he and his entire nation are decimated by the Chimera ants, and he is killed and eaten. When Gyro was reincarnated, his mental fortitude and unquenchable hatred of humanity allowed him to be the only Chimera ant in history to be able to ignore the Queen's orders and retain his complete sense of self. If you notice, Gyro's existence is even more rare than a calamity of the Dark Continent. To reinforce the potential threat level of Gyro, Nen becomes more powerful the more intense the determination of the user is. And the narrator straight up states that Gyro's malevolence and determination are second to none, as Gyro's hatred for humanity transcended both life and death, being strong enough to make him a more rare existence than the Ant King Meruem or a calamity. You can be certain that once Gyro obtains Nen and learns of it, he will raise hell on Earth, and that's quite literally Gyro's goal. It's even possible for him to learn of and make a contract relating to this, and now being within the body of a Chimera Ant, you can be certain that his existence is now a threat to the entire planet. Gyro also seems to be a charismatic and very competent leader, as Welfin was stated that he was able to get along with Gyro so well that he would die for him. And the same could be said about most people in NGL, as they all died alongside him. Netero even stating to Meruem, "You know nothing of the bottomless malice of the human heart." And this was the moment that Netero's Nen peaked to a level that had even Meruem shaking in fear. Something that death couldn't even come close to doing to the King of Ants. After reincarnating, Gyro sets out to start anew in Meteor City with the goal of beginning another nation. And for this experience and much more powerful Gyro, he should be able to achieve this much easier now. There's a reason why Togashi is saving him for last. Something else to point out with Gyro is that he happens to have some sort of fate intertwined with Gon. As the narrator says, Gyro has left town and disappeared without encountering Gon. Whether this proves fortunate for either party will not be known until they ultimately meet. I do wonder what exactly this means and what possibly could have happened if they had met, but if I had to take a guess, it'd be that Gyro would either learn Nen because of Gon or the existence of it at least, thus greatly accelerating both the hell he'd bring on Earth and its growth and power. Togashi certainly has removed the entire cast from the mainland for a reason, as this will allow Gyro to grow in power without anybody being capable of stopping him. Who knows what the state of things will be when everyone returns. Gyro is someone who's always caused a lot of havoc off screen, so I'd expect even more than usual. But this is exactly why Gyro's character works so well. And it's because every single time we're focused on Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio, we always have the thought in the back of our heads. What could Gyro be possibly doing right now? The fact that Gyro has such power to single-handedly move the narrative without any character interactions is very telling of the potential of his character. And I personally believe that Gyro has the potential to be the greatest antagonist written in all of manga. As this is a character written by Togashi, he's sure to have a lot of care behind him. And since this one chapter is all we've had about him in the past 19 years, there's a lot of build-up behind this character. Gyro's character can go in many ways, but what I believe is, his character will be a study on what exactly it means to be evil. There are people who praise him and would even die for him, yet he's described to the viewer by Togashi to be an unstoppable force of nature with the sole purpose of eradicating humanity. Once we come to learn more of Gyro and who he is in the future of the story, will we eventually question whether he's truly evil or not? Despite the goals he has, who knows? Gyro is calamity incarnate, and it will be a delight to see how he rules over Meteor City and interacts with the rest of the cast once they return from the Dark Continent.